You know what winning does? You know what having a great player does? What it does is it brings on expectation, and we talk about expectation a lot on Popular Podcast. When you win something, or when you win it all, when you win a championship, when you win a Super Bowl, when you win a Stanley Cup, when you win a World Series, there is and not much changes from year to year. There's expectations that's put on you. And those expectations usually are large. That's one of the biggest reasons why after you win a championship, usually the next year you're favored to win again. At least until the season starts. Winning breeds expectations, high expectations. And you know what I also know about sports? Sports is the only occupation in the world that I know. Maybe being a doctor too. So sports and being a doctor are the only two occupations I know that expects you to put all of your personal stuff aside for the moment. If you're a doctor or you're a surgeon, it doesn't really matter what's going on at home. All that matters is that you save this person or complete the surgery. In sports, let's just stick to basketball. It doesn't. People don't care what's going on, and what happens in your regular day-to-day doesn't matter when you're step between the lines, when you step on the court. All that matters is just you do what's best to win the game for you and your teammates. So Mike Budenholzer gets fired 2 years after winning a championship. Of course, I believe, 2 years after winning a championship. He was the head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks since 2018 to 2023. In that time, he has not had a losing record at all. In fact, his worst season was the bubble year when they won 46 games. And they won, not the bubble year. In 2020, 2021. They won 46 games and won the championship that year. So you're hearing so Mike Budenholzer gets fired, and you're hearing people like Damian Lillard come out. Damian Lillard came out in defense of, pretty much in defense of Mike Budenholzer, saying, they're firing coaches after winning a championship. Let me be honest about what I think that championship did. Because championships do different things for different players, owners, coaches. What I think that championship did for Mike Budenholzer was give him more time. Because think about it. Before the championship, let's go in his entire tenure with the Milwaukee Bucks. 2018, they lost in the conference finals. 2019, they lost in the conference semifinals. 2020, they won the NBA championship. 2021, the number one seed going into the playoffs, they lost in the conference semifinals. 2022, the number one seed in the playoffs, they lose in the first round, becoming the first number one team in NBA history to only win one game. After being number one, only win one game in the first round. And the sixth team ever to be a number one seed and lose to an 8 seed in the first round. Sixth team. We talked about last year, and I go back to championships and expectation. When you win a championship, I understand that it's very difficult to win again, but when you have arguably the best player in basketball, you're not expected to be bounced the first round or the semifinals, which is the second round for people that don't know. And let's not misremember things. Last year they were up 3-2. Wow, what the hell was that? They were up 3-2 against the Boston Celtics. and lost game 6 at home. Actually, yeah, lost game 6 at home and was up big in game 6. This year, they lost to a Miami Heat team. Now, yes, I understand Giannis missed about 2.5 games, but they lost to a Miami Heat team that was without 2 of their 4 best players. Let me say 2 out of their best 5 players. And they were the number 1 overall seed. And now you're hearing reports saying that Giannis may have been ready for Mike Budenholzer to go, or Mike Budenholzer's voice was starting to get drowned out. What do we know about what has been the criticism of Mike Budenholzer majority of his career? That is the lack of adjustments. The lack of adjustments from the first half to the second half, and the lack of creativity in his offensive plays. Again, expect winning a championship, winning anything, throw or puts your expectations through the roof, and Mike Budenholzer was not able to live up to that. I think what that NBA championship did to Mike Budenholzer, honestly, outside the expectations, was give him space, give him time, because we've heard for a minute now, actually, that Mike Budenholzer could be out of here. Kind of the same thing we heard about Doc Rivers, and do not get it twisted. If we'll talk about this in a second, but don't expect Doc Rivers to be in Philly much longer if they have a disappointing series against the Celtics. I'm not saying you have to win, but you can't get blown off the map like you did a couple nights ago. But we'll talk about that in a second. I think, again, that championship in 2020, 2021 gave Mike Budenholzer a lot more time. But that time started to shrink a year after, when you were the favorites to go back-to-back and you didn't make it out the semifinals. Now, yes, you can say it was because of Chris Middleton not being there, and a lot of people think that it was because of Chris Middleton not being there. But you know who doesn't care that Chris Middleton was not there? The Milwaukee Bucks front office. And when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're up 3-2 against the Celtics without Chris Middleton. You lose a decisive game 3. In fact, you lose 2 straight. Lose game 3 at home and game 4. Like, come on now. And then this year, you made history in all the wrong ways. I understand I understand what Damian Lillard was talking about, but I also understand, and what people think have to understand is that I believe that championship gave him a lot more time, because I think for a minute now they've been ready to move on from Mike Budenholzer. And this season, the way that this season ended, because again, you remember a lot of people had the Milwaukee Bucks winning the championship this year, including myself. But the way that this ended kind of gave Milwaukee Bucks an out. An out that it looks crazy firing a person that you already wanted to fire. It looked crazy firing a person after the NBA championship. But 2 seasons removed and you haven't made it back to a conference championship with the best player in the league, arguably. Yeah. It's yeah. It's not really a scapegoat thing. It's just what it is. And if it is true, again, these are all things I've heard. If it is true that Giannis was ready for you to go, it's a wrap for you, brother. It's like, talk about this all the time. Star player or head coach, if one person has to go, who do you think is going to be every single time? So there's that. And I think that Mike Budenholzer, I mean, think about it. He is an NBA champion. That's one thing. He's an NBA champion coach. Hell, Ime Udoka got a job without winning a championship. Now, yes, he was the architect to changing around the defense that the Boston Celtics played, which ultimately got them to a championship. Or, I'm sorry, got them to the NBA Finals. So Ime Udoka got a head coaching job with the Houston Rockets. I'm sure Mike Budenholzer will not be out of a job for long. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.